What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to FBA Capital. And today I'm bringing you guys the daily range case study for none other than US30. So let's get right on into it. So if you guys haven't noticed, the past 2 days I didn't do a daily range, and that's just because the past 2 days have just been trending days, and there's not much price action to learn off of. Because when there's days like this, these trending days, I personally don't like to take trades on them. And as you can see, yesterday was another trending day, so we had two trending days back to back. Just the chop market is choppy on the higher time frame, as you can see. But nonetheless, that's not an excuse. We are in a choppy market, but now today we did have some price action that we can learn from, so we're going to do that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my previous day's highs and previous day's lows in my 3-point outline. Get the previous day's low right down here. Step 2 is I'm going to get the previous day's Asian session range. So from right here at 19 o'clock all the way to midnight, this is going to be our Asian session range. Boom. And now we're going to get the last part of the outline and get the 12 a.m. open, which is right here. So the first thing I want you guys to pay attention to is this area down here and this high. Then I also want you to pay attention to these previous day's highs and previous day's lows. Why are these previous day's highs and previous day's lows are important? Because I'm going to show you why. So first we're going to keep this low in mind, and then we're going to pay attention to this high right up here. Why this high? Because this is the move, the retracement that had this move right here. So what are we going to do? We're going to pull our fib from that previous day's low to that high that I delineated. And you can see that price had this reaction right at this fib long. Also, if you look to the left, we are in this Asian session range. Where are we at in this Asian session range? Let's get the 50%. Boom. And I'm going to get this red line. I'm going to draw it over. And you can see price tapped right in the 50% of this Asian session range, along with that 70.50% of this fib long. And none other than that, we also have the rejection of 34,400 big figure level. So we have a lot of confirmations in this little area. And we also have the last confirmation, which is we were right below the 12 a.m. open, which gave us a pretty ideal buying scenario. Now, what time did this happen? We got this move at 9:30. So at 9:30 a.m., we have the low of the day at the fib long, plus we had below the 12 a.m. open. We are below the 12 a.m. open. We are also at the 50% of the Asian range. And what else do we have? We also had the rejection of 34,400 big figure level. So we had a lot of confirmations for this area right here to have this reaction as it did. And then as you can see from here, price ran above and traded to where? I don't know if it's gonna be an actual fib level, but we're gonna draw a fib from the previous day's high to the previous day's low. I'm going to see if price reacted in this fib at all. As you can see, it did, but it did run through it, so we're personally not going to use that. But the area I want you guys to pay attention to next is right up here. This area right in here, which missed 34,800 literally by a few pips. But this is where we got the high of the day. So if you look at this on the higher time frame, price came in. On this chart, it tells you tapped into 34,800, but on this chart, it says it didn't. So I'm just going to say it did in my personal opinion. And this was at 21:45, which is at about 9:45. Yeah, 9:45. So we have the high of the day at 9:45 p.m. I'm going to say we traded into 34,800 because we did on other brokers, but more than on this one, we personally didn't. But nonetheless, I'm going to keep that there because there's going to be there's going to be a lot of times where price does come this close, but majority of the time it will at least tap into it or at least run through it to an extent. So I will say it did tap into it. So we had that high of the day that was created at 9:45 p.m. at 34,800. And this is this would have been the ideal trade, but let's say you didn't catch this trade. So we're going to use this low and this high right up here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the fib from this high to this low to this high. And the first thing I see is price had a continuation rejection. So we had that 38.20% rejection along with the retracement into this 15-minute order block right here. And this is where you could have got a second entry. And if you also look at where we are in price, it traded right back into 34,500 right in there to the pip. So we're going to annotate this also. At what time was this? This was at 12:30. So I'm going to draw that right here. So at 12:30, we had that fib long at the 15-minute order block, also at 34,500, along with 38.20% rejection. And this is a potential not re-entry, or potential entry overall that you could have got if you personally didn't catch the main move. Because what did we do? We waited for price to have a break of structure, just like it did right here. We had that break of structure. Price came down, retraced into an order block and a big freak level and that fib long. And then from here, price ran above and continued to move even higher. So nonetheless, today was a pretty good example of a bullish New York reversal day. Even though I personally wasn't able to take advantage of this move, I didn't expect this to be bullish. I personally was expecting price to continue its bearish trend from yesterday after it came up to around 34,600, which is around here, right above here somewhere. This is where I was expecting price to ideally go bearish, but when we had this rejection and cleared these highs at 7 p.m., not 7 p.m., a.m., I personally thought price was going to continue lower and clear this previous day's low and make a run for 34,300. But as you can see, it didn't. And nonetheless, we could still learn from what happened today. So now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the schematic. So what happened? We had the Asian session range. Then London session pushed higher, ranged a little bit. New York session, we had the retracement. Instead of 50% of the Asian range, that fib long, 34,400. And had that below the 12 a.m. open, and then from there price continued to expand to the top side. But nonetheless, this is a great example of a bullish New York reversal. And even though these patterns aren't ideally the best ones to take, I personally like taking continuation trades because they have higher potential of playing out. And overall, when you're looking for reversal trades, a lot of the time they don't play out fully. And now that I'm looking at it, guys, we also have this last confirmation down here. This last two candles right here. So if I go to 30-minute, we have this 30-minute order block right in here also that we did have this rejection off of. So we also have another confirmation to add in here that I personally wasn't looking at. We had that 30-minute order block right in there that did have that rejection, as you can see from here, and the price ran to the top side and did what it did. But with that being said, this is all I have for you guys today. I'm going to take this screenshot. I'm going to make sure I send it in the Telegram. So if you're not in the Telegram, make sure you join that. But with that being said and done, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's a nice little short video. Just wanted to give you guys an overall idea of what happened today and give you a good case study that you can learn from and benefit from. So if you did and were able to benefit from this at any way, shape, or form, then make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow's live session trading. Will be in the morning. We'll see what we can get on Friday, if I even take trades. But with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Stay motivated by the premium average, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.